Another really useful use of the query method is when you don't know where a model is coming from. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's just say that you're building out a package, or in fact, you just store a model in your config in your app someplace. Let's just call this package.php over in config, and let's define out a model in here that we can chop and change. So think of something where the model might be different depending on who is using your package. So I'm going to go ahead and say model in here, and I'm going to provide the full namespace to the post just inside of here and make sure we pull that in. So with this, what we can actually do is we could say config package model. Let's just dump on that to make sure we're getting that back properly. You can see we get app models and post. And ideally what we'd want to do is then start to access methods on this using Eloquent. Now what we can't do is something like this, where published true and then get. That's just not going to work. So let's just assign this to a variable, dump on posts just down here, and let's come over and see what happens. There we go. Cannot call where published on a string. Of course, that makes sense. We can't call methods on strings. But what we can do is use the static query method to resolve this. So let's go ahead and say query where published. So now, even if you have a string within your config that dictates which model you're using, in this example for a particular package you're building, you can just use query on here and then start to chain on anything that you need. And you can see here, sure enough, we get one result back like we've seen before.